Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us. My name is Omri. I'm the program manager for the 5G studio with Newlab. We're excited to be here. This is our first webinar of the year, and we'll discuss our new open call for the second cohort. With me on the line is Rachel from New Business Incubation Team at Verizon. I'll let her introduce herself as well, and then we can get started.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel, and like Omri said, I sit on the new business incubation team at Verizon, where I lead ecosystem development and growth, as well as our collaboration and program with Newlab. Very excited to spend some time today to share more on the 5G studio at Newlab as we plan for our first cohort of 2021.
Great. Just a bit of housekeeping. You guys have a Q&A button. You can submit any question at any time, and we'll try to answer it. There'll also be a about 15-minute Q&A session at the end of this, at the end of the slides. So feel free to keep your questions till then or submit them at any time. Before we begin talking about the studio itself, I'd like to present Newlab to you. So Newlab, we are a community of startups, entrepreneurs, founders that came together in Brooklyn to solve industry challenges and promote innovation in New York in various industries. We work with multinational corporations and with industry partners to support these startups as they go to build their products. The focus areas for us in Newlab are around Industry 4.0, IoT, robotics, material science, computer vision, really a lot of things that require space, prototyping labs, and support more than just software. And you'll see soon why is that. The Newlab community, as I said, is being supported by the Newlab company. We provide two lines of business. We have our membership and our studios. Today, we'll discuss in depth the studio model and the 5G studio. But before we hop into that, a bit about the membership and what we can offer founders such as yourself or entrepreneurs who decide to join our community. We have about 160 companies in our network today. In Newlab in Brooklyn, we have over $5 million in on-site equipment and a way to support entrepreneurs who are looking to build their next company. So anything from a wood shop to a 3D printing lab, prototyping labs and such. We have more than 800 members in the community in general and more than 400 investors in the network that we are happy to introduce companies that are in our network and open doors to them. Generally speaking, companies in our, as members, raised over $700 million and they're valued at more than $2.6 billion. We have 3 locations as of today. We have our headquarters in Brooklyn. We recently opened a new building pretty close to that in the Brooklyn Navy Yards in 77 Washington. And we just recently opened a new office in Detroit in collaboration with the local EDC. And the building will open soon. We already have interesting photos coming from there. That building would focus more on autonomous vehicles and smart cities. In the headquarters in Newlab, where we are running the pilots with Verizon on the 5G network, we have more than 84,000 square foot. It used to be a shipyard. So it's based in the Brooklyn Navy Yards, provides a huge facility for companies to come and prototype and to build, to pilot. So a lot of space, and that's why we're focused on companies with hardware, and we can provide them that space that you cannot find in normal working spaces and such. And we provide desks for companies who wants to come and work beyond just prototyping. The community in Newlab of companies is built from, as we said, serial entrepreneurs and founders. So we have about 40% of our founders come as repetitive ones, and They already built companies before, they've experienced, so it's a lot of cross collaboration within the network as well. And we certainly encourage companies to collaborate among themselves outside the with Newlab. We have 23% of our founders are female founders. We are really proud of it. New York in general is a leader for female founders. It's a great place for them to work. Even more than that, around robotics, around IoT, we see more and more and more females, and we are certainly encouraging more to apply to our program as well. The companies who join the studio and companies who join Newlab in general receive at the bare minimum a Flex 2 membership, meaning a 1-year membership at Newlab, which provide them access to all of these great things, including introductions, programming for members, a dedicated Slack community for companies to collaborate and work among themselves, office hours, of course, the prototyping labs, and more. We are happy to answer any questions around that. We have a dedicated membership team that all they do all day is to work with the founders that we have in our network to support them in building their businesses and expanding their businesses in New York and in general in the States. In addition to the membership side, we're also working with multinational corporations. One of them is Verizon, which we will be talking about today. The way that we do that is through our new studio model. So we run a year-long engagement with different corporates, and the idea is to build pilots, and from a very, very rigorous discovery phase with the corporate, where we find out what are the pain points and challenges, what are they looking to solve when they are working with Newlab. We bring in companies that can solve those challenges in companies such as yourself, different startups with different solutions. We have a mobility studio with Ford. We have a mining studio with Prospect. And we recently opened a new urban tech studio in accessible streets that will focus on EV and AV. Sorry. A bit about the 5G studio, which we just recently opened our open call for the second cohort. So about a year ago, Verizon and Newlab came together to collaborate on this unique studio in which Verizon deployed a 5G network, one of the only networks around the country that is available in Newlab for companies to come and pilot and test their technology on. The focus of the studio is to enable companies to really build their products on 5G and to unlock new solutions and new capabilities that they could not have done before on 4G, LTE, or Wi-Fi. In the studio, we focus on 3 different focus areas. We have industrial automation, so manufacturing, logistics, supply chains, and such, how to really turn a warehouse or the supply chain into a smart one. Sustainability and energy efficiency, so anything around from batteries to smart grids to EVs. And transportation, how to turn our streets smarter, how to work on autonomous vehicles, and how to leverage 5G for all of those in order to enable real-time data transfer in companies that attack each one of those focus areas. The open call will focus on those 3 focus areas and will choose companies to participate in the next cohort, companies that are providing solutions in those 3 focus areas. I will let Rachel speak a bit about the Verizon side and why they wanted to collaborate with Newlab and their plans on 5G.
Thanks, Omri. So let's talk 5G. What is 5G? 5G at its simplest level is the 5th generation of wireless technology. And to understand 5G, it's helpful to understand what came before it. So we started with 1G, which was voice-only analog capabilities. Then 2G introduced the digital world, allowing for short messages. For me, that was the ability to text mom, late for dinner, TTYL. Of course, late spelled L, and then the number 8. Then the move to 3G provided the essential network speeds for accessing the internet through smartphones. 4G, with its faster data rates, gave rise to many of the connected devices and services we rely on today. Great example of that is Uber. So the move from 3G to 4G gave us a significant network improvement, but the jump from 4G to 5G will be transformational. Previous generations only improved two components of cellular capability, and those were speed and throughput. 5G, though, provides 6 additional inherent advantages, including ultra low latency, energy efficiency, ultra reliability, and more. So we're not talking about a step function, we're talking about something new altogether. 5G is paving the way for an array of unprecedented innovation that will reshape cities, businesses, and society as a whole. 5G's already started to usher in the fourth industrial revolution, an era of technology-led disruption and innovation that has potential to cause huge change in how people and how we do things. And this is possible because of the capabilities that 5G introduces. So when we talk about 5G speed, it's a given. We're going to have faster speeds with massive bandwidth. But beyond that, we have other capabilities, or what we call currencies of 5G. So there are 8 total: throughput, service deployment, mobility, connected devices, energy efficiency, data volume, latency, and reliability. Just to talk through a few of those, latency is the amount of time it takes for data to travel from a user over the network to a central processor and back again. With 5G, we're going to see lower than ever latency at sub 10 milliseconds. Data volume refers to the amount of data that can be sent over the network, and the combination of super low latency with high data volumes introduces all kinds of new applications. So think about a doctor or first responder being able to get data intensive information like full body scans or building plans in seconds. Talking about a few more of them, we have mobility, which means that with 5G, devices traveling over 300 miles an hour can stay connected to the network. Connected devices refers to the number of devices that can be connected within a given space. With 5G, we're talking about over 1 million devices able to send and receive data in less than a half a mile. So this will really pave the road for truly smart cities, no pun intended. And Verizon is building out the infrastructure for all 8 currencies. And so when we say 5G, we really mean it. And what that means is that a lot of testing, planning, and innovation go into our 5G network. Let's talk a little bit about our team. We can go on to the next slide. So the new business incubation team sits within Verizon's strategy organization. And our mission is to scale new automation businesses fueled by the inherent orchestration power of the 5G future. So we focus on the development and validation of some of the most transformational future technologies, including terrestrial and aerial robots, location tech, and industrial IoT. Our team is constantly pushing to the edge of what's possible and leading us to new and exciting discoveries. The 5G studio is a huge part of that innovation pipeline, where we get to collaborate with early stage tech companies, exploring adjacent spaces to our strategies. We're thrilled to go into year 2 of the program and to invite more innovation and transformation of products through 5G. So let's dig a little bit into what we've done so far.
Thank you, Rachel. So as you perfectly said, we are now entering our 2nd year of partnership, and we just recently finished our first set of pilots with our first cohort. In that cohort, we had 6 companies participate from across the US. We had Exxon Technology, a drone company that offers drone solution for GPS-denied environments. They came to Newlab and tested in our facility, taking advantage of the big warehouse that we offer, and flew the drone around in order to map the facility in real time and create 3D maps in real time. Foam, a blockchain company that provides very accurate location data for companies around warehouses and around cities, using their unique radio and blockchain solution. They're able to authenticate locations without the need for a third party. Ghost Robotics, it's a very, very interesting 4-legged robot that you can deploy in different areas and basically have that robot walk around, stream live data in real time, and provide military and energy companies ability to scan areas that they don't want to have their employees or the soldiers walk in before scanning that area. Phantom Auto is a teleoperation company that provide the transportation industry with very, very advanced teleop SDK that enables you to operate any vehicle from any place in the around the world. Pontocare is our only healthcare company that we had in our previous cohort, and we were very excited to have them participate, especially due to the current situation with COVID. Their solution is a very interesting AR solution that enables doctor to examine patients from remote locations, all of course in real time, HIPAA compliant and live. And Vecna Robotics, it's a company from Boston that teleoperate vehicles within warehouses using VR sets all in real time, providing vehicles such as 3,300-pound forklift that runs around our warehouse alone, all operated from Boston. So very cool solutions, very interesting. We are very excited for what comes next for our second cohort. But before we go into that, I'll show a video to show you the results from the first pilot. So just to give you a better understanding of the kind of solutions and the kind of applications that we're looking at when we're looking at 5G, I will let Rachel go in depth into two of these companies, Vecna and Ghost. And in addition, I see we have a question from the crowd that Rachel, maybe you can answer. Is it, can 5G be available in home or offices if it's faster than what's available today from local ISPs?
Can you repeat the question? Can
5G be available in home or offices? And is it faster than what's typically available from local ISPs?
So Verizon is currently rolling out its 5G network, meaning that in certain parts of the country, including New York, you will have 5G available in your home. And in addition to speed, like we spoke about, we have 8 currencies to 5G. So it's not just about speed. There's a lot more that 5G brings to the table.
Cool. Thank you. And let's go deep into Vecna.
Great. Okay, so we just want to give two examples of the type of work that was done in the program, just to kind of give ideas of what's possible with a 5G network. So Vecna Robotics is an autonomous mobile robot company that helps distribution, warehousing, and manufacturing organizations streamline their materials handling and logistics operations. So why do they need 5G? Vecna Robotics wanted to use 5G and edge computing to enable higher performance and support for their fleets, while getting enormous value from running computer vision and machine learning processing at the edge in near real time. So they used Verizon's 5G network and mobile edge compute, or what we call MEC, at Newlab to streamline and process data from their robot over the network, resulting in improved localization, navigation, and management. So they utilized 5G and MEC to process huge amounts of sensor data in near real time, including 3D LiDAR point clouds and 360 camera footage to an operator using a VR headset. So that can greatly improve their real-time or their real NOC environment, where support can be offered by a human operator now over 5G in near real time. So having that fast and stable connection with the ability to send immense amounts of data and do heavy computing at the edge can really transform the way Vecna Robotics supports and delivers value to their clients. So that was super great use case of the 5G network and really exciting stuff. Let's move on to one more example. So Ghost Robotics creates dynamic legged robots that are highly durable, agile, and most importantly, autonomous. Oops.
Okay. Jumped. Sorry for that. Here we go.
Great. So the Ghost robotics are used for military, public safety, and enterprise applications across different types of environments and terrains. So why do they need 5G? Ghost robotics, because they work across different environments, are very different from each other. They require a high bandwidth and stable network for remote teleoperations and processing of robot data. So they can send their robot into whatever environment it is and make sure to have a reliable source of data and processing of that data through that really powerful 5G network. In the program, Ghost Robotics look to offload navigation software and processing to the 5G network. This is really a unique capability made possible by 5G and MEC, where data-intensive processing can happen over the network rather than on a device, meaning less compute resources are actually required on board that robot. And most importantly, this is happening in near real time through that 5G network. So we see here again how 5G is such a game changer for different applications, and another really, really exciting application of 5G that we saw in the program.
And one related question that we got from the audience is, what capabilities will we have access to for connected electronic devices? Rachel, so I think it probably relates back to the 8 currencies that we've discussed, right, for the connected devices.
Yeah, is the question about connecting an electronic device?
What are the capabilities that will enable, that 5G enables connected devices, basically? So IoT and sensors and such.
Yeah, I'm not sure I fully understand the question, but I'll take a stab. So we've built this this network of 5G and MEC. So we have all the capabilities of the 5G, including the ability to connect many devices and send and process a lot of data from those devices. And then alongside that, we have the MEC, the mobile edge compute, which we are encouraging our participants to use for processing of their applications over the MEC rather than locally on their devices. So really exciting applications and equipment that we have in Newlab for use.
Great. Thank you. And again, we encourage you guys to keep sending us questions. So a bit about the benefits from the program for founders and for companies who participate. The program offers investment and exposure. So we have grant funding, zero equity that we provide companies in order to cover expenses such as travel expenses or engineering expenses, development and such. Access, of course, to our robust corporate and investor network. We are happy to provide any introductions to companies who participate in the at the studio. We have Verizon supporting us when we go through the build and test stage of the program, basically working closely with our stakeholders and unlocking new product capabilities on 5G through very rigorous, very long 2-month process of working together one-on-one in making sure that your product is fully leveraging 5G and is fully running all its capabilities. And of course, the community at space. So we talked a bit about it before, but we provide 2 one-year memberships at Newlab for free for companies to enjoy, so they can come daily to use the facility to work from there, enjoy the prototyping resources and the access to our large community of founders. A bit about the timeline for this for the program. So last week we launched the open call on January 7th. The open call is going to stay open until the 10th. That is February 10th. Sorry. After which we'll go through an application review process, firstly internally, and then we'll run one-on-one calls with the top participants and top applicants, excuse me. in collaboration with Verizon, after which we'll have the participants submit a very detailed pilot proposal with a budget and goals for 5G usage and timeline for their pilot at Newlab. We'll announce finalists during the month of April, and we'll begin testing at the end of April that will run until mid-June. In mid-June, we'll run a public demo day with Verizon stakeholders and basically present to the public the work that you've accomplished during the pilot. After which, it's up to the result of the pilot, but investment opportunities, partnership opportunities, and such, hopefully will be available for participating companies. If you guys have questions, of course, feel free to submit them. This is it for the slide section. Now we have a few questions already from the audience. The first one is, what stage of the company is the studio looking for? Is it very early stage, mostly concept appropriate to apply? So I would say absolutely not. We are open to every stage company. Just from to give you a bit of understanding, so Vecna, one of the companies that participated in the first cohort, has raised close to $100 million in funding. They've been deployed in various locations, and they participated and took full advantage of the 5G network that, again, is not available for companies anywhere else. And then we also had companies such as PontoCare, much more on their early stage, working on their first pilots with corporates. So again, we encourage every company on every stage to apply to the program. I would say that 5G is quite advanced, and we expect companies to have a strong development team that can take upon themselves the task of revamping their product in a relatively short amount of time. Another question is, what are the main objectives and benefits for Verizon? Rachel?
Yep, I'm happy to take that one. So like we said, as Verizon builds out our really strong 5G network, we're looking to see the innovation and partner with the companies that are innovating on the network, making use of all those currencies that we spoke about. And then B, within the new business incubation team that I'm on, we're specifically looking for companies that are working in areas that are aligned to the areas that we're focusing on, looking to kind of together build the Industry 4.0 ecosystem.
And then related to that, is the studio interested only in software companies, only in hardware companies, or in both? So I would say that certainly in both. There is oftentimes a hardware component to the companies that participate in the studio. However, we've seen just in our recent pilot working with Phantom Auto, they are a software company that offer an SDK, and they can sit on any hardware on any vehicle that enables them to integrate. So definitely not a hardware company, but they do have a hardware component in terms of like working with companies that produces data, produces through sensors in real time. And 5G, again, enables that real-time analysis and fast processing of data. So think about things that need to really leverage that. Rachel, anything you want to add on that?
Yep, I would definitely say both hardware and software companies that can make use of the power of 5G.
Cool. We have a few questions on the modems and phones that we offer companies, the devices that we'll use to connect their devices into the 5G network. Rachel?
So the question, can you recommend 5G modems for PC and devices? So we focus on Industry 4.0 applications. Anyone who participates and joins the program will be providing the 5G devices, and we'll work with you to make sure that we have the right device for your application.
Great. And is the studio interested in virtualized RAN and or open RAN 5G companies?
Yep. So depends on the company. I would say definitely apply. We have a great network that can be tested. And I think probably anyone who sits in the virtualized RAN, open RAN space is already going to be working with the 5G network. But happy to further see kind of what the focus is of you guys, and definitely there can be a point of collaboration.
Great, and I definitely encourage companies with different ideas to take advantage of the pretty simple application process that we have and submit their ideas so we can look at them further and understand their solution further. Our main things that we look at are the team, the stage, the kind of 5G application that you guys are looking at, and of course the focus area in the industry. So who are your clients? Who are you looking to? What kind of problems you're looking to solve? So certainly emphasize those when you submit an application. And then we have a specific question about the energy and sustainability focus area. What is Verizon's commitment to sustainability in that industry?
I will defer to our CEO, Hans, who just touched on this during the CES keynote, which should be either available on YouTube or on the Verizon website. We've made big commitments to sustainability, and I will let our CEO say it in the best words as possible, but we're definitely taking this space very seriously.
Okay, great. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to submit them now or send them to the email listed here. Both Rachel and I will be happy to answer any question and to support you guys as you go through the application process. If you don't, then we can share these slides with you and have them on our website. You can access this recording as well. And again, we're really, really looking forward to seeing your application. There's another question on how many companies are you expecting to apply? So there are unlimited amount of companies that can apply. We are hoping to see double, triple digits of applications. We will probably pilot about 6 companies in this cohort, similar to the previous cohort. And we are planning to run a second cohort later in the year for companies who either are too early, didn't make it into this open call, or had applications that are in different focus areas that we might focus on. And then another question is, does Newlab have any plans to expand internationally, physically offices in Europe, Asia, etc.? So yes, these are definitely things that we are looking at. At the moment, we're looking more on the domestic expansion. We just expanded to Detroit, and we have conversations to other places as well. But we are definitely looking to see what's the impact we can have globally. I can say that our studios are open for international companies as well, and we are happy to have them participate. It's not just limited to the US. We have additional studio in mining that a lot of the piloting takes place in a piloting site in India. So Newlab is definitely an international company with an international employees as well. And we are definitely looking at all possibilities. Is the next cohort confirmed to begin this summer? If you're referring to cohort number 2, then yes, we are confirmed to begin piloting at the end of April, and we'll run pilots until June. And in terms of the next cohort, nothing is set in stone, but we are looking at the second half of the year. Another question from Jonathan. I'm a law professor at Brooklyn Law and formerly MIT Media Lab. I'm also an old FCC telecom attorney. My student and I offer pro bono legal support for tech-oriented startups. We have worked with a lot of Newlab venture companies over the years, and would love to be able to support any venture in the Nobel Lab. Would that be helpful? So yes, and Satish is answering. Satish is our chief product officer, is also answering some of the questions. Certainly, we always encourage experts to offer their expertise to the companies and to reach out to us so we can offer that expertise to other companies, whether they're investors, experts in their fields, like professors, or industry experts, such as people from corporate innovation teams and such. If you guys have any more questions, happy to keep answering. What kind of development support, example, engineering, software, hardware, will Verizon provide for using the 5G system at Newlab? Rachel, I'll defer to you.
Yep. So we offer a team that will be on site at Newlab to support you from everything of how to connect to the network, what devices you need. So I would say definitely good to have some sort of background of network technology, at least up your sleeve a little bit. But we'll definitely work with the companies to make sure that you're getting connected to the network and accomplishing your goals.
And Rachel is being humble. They have the best team of engineers for 5G, and anywhere you can find basically. It's been really great to see them work with the companies in cohort 1 and unlocking the possibilities for the companies, really trying to not just explain what are the possibilities of 5G, but really tailoring it to every solution that every one of the companies offered in the cohort, which were so varied and so diverse. And Rachel and her team did a wonderful job working with these companies one-on-one, providing that support. I would say that we've seen, I know it's not a question from the audience, but just a quick note, we have seen about a week to 10 days of piloting days for every company at Newlab in order to really gain great result and gain the full extent of whatever the program has to offer for your product. So we definitely encourage keeping that in mind, that the pilot will take place between end of April, mid-June, and we expect companies to be on site in Newlab testing for at least a week to 10 days in order to fully reach their capabilities. Another question is, Satish answered that. So we can keep chatting and we can keep waiting for more questions to pop up. But Rachel, do you have anything you would like to add before we wrap up?
No, I think we covered a lot of the kind of key components of the program. We're really looking forward to getting applications. For anyone who is applying, really think about how 5G and its currencies and the power of 5G can really transform your product. And so feel free to reach out to Omri with any questions. Verizon has some great resources on 5G, and we're really excited to get some applications and to working with some of you.
Thank you, Rachel, for that and for participating, and thank you everybody for logging in. As I said, these resources will be available on our website. We're very much looking forward to seeing your applications and chatting, answering any question you might have. With that, thank you, Rachel, for participating.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Omri.
We'll run another session in a few weeks to answer more questions as you guys complete your applications. We'll post that on our website and on social media. So stay tuned. Thank you.